Hello everyone. This video is going to be about a common problem that all of us encounter at least once in our lifetime, whether it is for us or someone we know. Either way, after this video, you will be knowing what to and more importantly, what not to do immediately after a snake bite. Let's get to the video. First of all, let me give a quick glance at this animal. These reptiles are cold-blooded, also known as ectothermic animals, which means they cannot auto-regulate their body temperature. That is why they are predominantly found in shades under the rocks or burrows. There are more than 3,000 species globally, out of which only 600 are venomous. 200 known species like, for example, rattlesnake, black mamba, etc. have very potent venom that could easily kill people within an hour. So the first thing we should do is to identify what bit us. It could have been a snake or far less dangerous fire ant. Yes, you heard it right. The bite of a snake can vary from a pinch of a fire ant to excruciating agony. Identification is the first step. The question arises, how to identify in a split second? When you look at this slide, it might seem a bit confusing, but let me explain. After the initial bite, you may not be able to examine the reptile thoroughly. Instead, try to look at the color and the pattern, whether it has stripes all over it. After a basic idea of the color, most probably you will be looking at the tail. As so, if the tail is short and stout, as you can see in this picture, then it is most likely is going to be a non-venomous one. On the other hand, if it is flat or cylindrical, long tail, it is going to be venomous snake. Most of the snakes we encounter in the wild is going to be venomous. Apart from some species, most of it that we're going to see are venomous snake. But remember, this rule applies to most of the species, but not all. So the next step, if you are lucky enough to spot its head, then notice the shape of it. If it is wide with nose-like pits, which are called L'Oreal pits, these are heat-sensing pits which they use to track their prey at night. And also be in a safe distance. Then try to notice its eyes, whether it is vertical or round. If it is vertical, it is most likely going to be a venomous one. Some species like cobra or black mamba contradict this statement. So unless you are an expert in snakes, you are most likely going to be wrong. The basic idea of this identification is it would be easier for the healthcare worker to select the right antidote for you. So the identification of the snake itself aside, you can tell whether the snake that bit you is a poisonous one by the wound mark. So before that, if you want to learn more about this, just pause this video and take a screenshot. And this slide also shows the ins and outs of differentiating between venomous snake and non-venomous one. And coming to the bite mark, as you can see here in this picture, if there are two puncture marks on the skin, then it is by the fangs. What are fangs? They are the poisonous teeth that snakes have on the upper jaw. Meanwhile, if there are multiple puncture wounds in a row, then it's most probably a non-venomous one. Now coming to the first aid part. After the unexpected event, please do not panic. Now the first thing you're going to do is to try to identify the snake from a safe distance, obviously, and dial emergency. After that, you're going to remove all the jewels or any materials that you might happen to wear near the injury site. For example, bangles. Here, if you're in India, people might wear bangles and ankle bracelets. So it is advised to remove those kind of things. Don't try to take yourself by walking or by driving to nearby hospital, because here two things can happen. One is you may go unconscious while driving, which is the effect of the venom, and the other one is you are more likely to pump the venom blood all over the body faster than it would normally go. So it is advised to keep the injured part in a neutral position whenever possible. The next immediate step that should be done is to wash the wound with soap and water. Not all do this step. This may prevent the infection that may superimpose the already bad one. After all this, if at all you can, try to apply a clean piece of cloth, but never, I repeat, never tie a cloth or rope that tourniquet the limb. And if you are brave enough to tackle the situation, the advanced step that you can take is mark the leading edge of the swelling and write the time, because this might help the healthcare worker to know whether the poison is having local effect or not. Unfortunately, when you are in a secluded place, or even in developing countries like India or Africa, then it will most probably take around 20 to 30 minutes for an ambulance to arrive. So instead, just make your family member or a friend or a neighbor to drive you to the hospital nearby. It may save your life. This is the most important part of the video, where you're going to learn what not to do. So please do not pick up the snake or try to handle it. Do not wait for the symptoms to appear. Even if you identify the bite marks correctly, please seek the immediate medical attention. And as I mentioned earlier, do not apply a tourniquet or do not do anything unnecessary like slashing the wound with knife or try to suck the venom out of the wound. Most of the people drink alcohol as a painkiller, as it might suppress the pain. Please do not take any pain relievers, for example aspirin, which may interact with the anticoagulant profile of the venom. And please do not apply electric shock or any form of folk therapies like pouring hot liquid over it. Please do not do anything. So here we come to the end of the slide, and I just want to tell you this thing. Snakes are very shy animals. Their venom is for killing prey, not harm humans or any other big animals for that matter. The point to be noted is human and snake interaction is almost always accidental. Hence, if you are bitten by one, most probably it is because of the self-defense from the snake. So please do not kill it. And also, just remember this: better safe than sorry. Thank you.